The scene opens on a dusty veranda in a quiet rural town on December 31st, 2025. The air is heavy with the scent of dry grass and wood smoke. Mama Ene, a woman whose face is a map of 80 years of survival, sits hunched over a loom, weaving a tapestry of mismatched, jagged threads. The lighting is dim, lit only by a flickering kerosene lamp. In the background, the distant sound of a radio plays a news recap of 2025, reports of the great inflation, failed harvests, and the biting loneliness of a year that took more than it gave. Mama Ene's hands tremble. Every time she tries to pull the shuttle through, the thread snaps. She isn't just weaving fabric, she is trying to finish the year cloth, a tradition where the village elders bind the pains of the old year so they cannot follow the people into the new one. Kalu, her grandson, enters the frame. He is wearing a worn-out delivery jacket from a job he just lost. He looks at the loom with a cynical sneer, his eyes tired and hollow. "Why bother, Grandma? 2025 broke us. A piece of cloth won't fix the bank balance or bring back the rain." Mama Ene doesn't look up. "This cloth isn't a bank account, Kalu. It's a memory. If you don't weave the knots of your sorrow properly, you'll trip over the loose strings all through next year." Kalu scoffs and pulls out a smartphone with a cracked screen. He shows a notification, a foreclosure notice on their small plot of land dated for January 2nd, 2026. "Here is your loose string. Reality doesn't care about your folklore." The room goes silent. The weight of the world, the actual grueling reality of 2025, sits between them. Mama Ene stops weaving. She reaches out and touches the cracked screen of the phone, then touches the rough fabric on her loom. "Do you remember the flood in July?" she asks softly. Kalu nods stiffly. "I used the mud-stained wool from your ruined bedroom to weave this section here." She points to a dark, ugly gray patch in the center. "It's scratchy and foul, but it's strong." She explains that a good year isn't one where nothing goes wrong, but one where the breaks are mended. She shows him where she used bright gold thread, a gift from a neighbor during the worst of the food shortages, to tie the gray patches together. As the clock nears midnight, the wind begins to howl outside, rattling the zinc roofing. Mama Ene tries to tie the final knot, the anchor of 2026, but her arthritis flares up. She drops the shuttle. The entire tapestry begins to unravel. Kalu watches the thread slip. For a moment, his cynicism wins, but then he sees a tear roll down his grandmother's cheek, the first time he has ever seen her cry. The realism of her exhaustion hits him harder than his own. Kalu kneels. He doesn't pray, he acts. He reaches into his pocket and pulls out the red ribbon from his last paycheck, the only thing he kept from the job that let him go. "Use this," he whispers. "It's the only thing I have left of 2025. Together, their hands, one old and wrinkled, one young and scarred, work the red ribbon into the loom. They aren't magic, they're just two people refusing to give up. They weave the red line through the gray, creating a strike of vibrant color across the darkness. The distant sound of a church bell begins to toll. 1, 2, 3. The village, usually loud with fireworks, is strangely quiet this year. People are too tired to celebrate loudly. The celebration is internal, a quiet breath of, "We made it." On the 12th stroke of the bell, Kalu pulls the final knot tight. The year cloth is finished. It is not beautiful in a traditional sense. It's lumpy, scarred, and mismatched. It looks exactly like a life lived through a hard year. The sun begins to rise, casting a pale blue light over the veranda. The radio announcer's voice changes. The tone is no longer a recap of disasters, but a simple weather report for January 1st. Clear skies ahead. Kalu's phone buzzes. It's a text from a former coworker. Not a miracle job offer, but a simple message. I found a lead on a community co-op. They need someone who knows the land. We start tomorrow. It's a small opening, a tiny thread of possibility. Kalu looks at the cloth, then at the sunrise. He realizes that the hope he was looking for wasn't a sudden change in fortune, but the resilience to keep weaving even when the thread is cheap and the loom is breaking. Mama Ene leans back, exhausted but at peace. She hands the shuttle to Kalu. 2026 is a blank frame, my son. The thread is in your hands now. Don't be afraid of the dark colors. They make the light ones stand out. The camera pans out as the village begins to wake up. We see other families on their porches, some shaking out old rugs, some sharing small meals. The script ends with a close-up of the red ribbon in the cloth, glowing in the morning sun. The struggle hasn't vanished, but the new year has officially begun. For more interesting stories, like and subscribe. Follow for more so you won't miss out.